Hola Brasil. Happy Friday. I hope you guys are lounging. Happy you found it. And loungers and lovers of all things Friday. Welcome to the Lounge of Sound. It's just your friend. I'm not trying to hide. It's just me. You see? Nothing happened. I was just feeling the moment. I'm not trying to hide from anybody. Just their glasses. I'm okay. Everything's fine. I was just feeling in the in the mood. You know why? Hostage. Hostage is in the house. So we're going to get to hear some spoken word. Excuse me. It's hot. It's getting warm here. What is going on? How is it in your neck of the woods? How's it going over there? Huh? You guys doing okay? Let us know where you're at in the chat. It is really warming up here. So I had a breakout with my, I don't know if you call it a habanera, guayabera, or a Hawaiian shirt. I don't know what you call it in your neck of the woods, but, or in Brazil. ¿Cómo se llama esto en Brazil? Let me know. Anyway, just like I mentioned, we've got Hostage here in the Lounge of Sound, and he is going to let us know. He needs to let me know, why do they call him Hostage? What is so important about speaking truth? And in spoken word, how do we get started, and how do we get inspired and stay inspired? So I'm going to be calling my friend Hostage because I need to get to the bottom of these things. And today, I'm going to let Furia do all my talking because we've got a busy weekend. Hello to my friends over at Portland State University Club. I'll be over there tomorrow for a special event, a very private event. So I can't tell you about it, but I just did. And then I'll see you guys over at the Kingdom Singers on Sunday with hello Charlie and Pam Walker, the Waka Wakas, like I like to call them. Just kidding. I don't call them that. Not while they're watching. Anyway, let's call Hostage. What do you guys think? Should we call him? Learn a little about spoken word. Here we go. There he is. Look at that smile. That $1 million smile. I'm going to owe you later.
What's up, Los?
How you doing, bro?
My brother, how are you?
Doing great. Just a little burning up here. How you doing?
Good. It's not burning up here yet in New York, but I think next week is going to start to get warm. So we are super excited for the warm weather for sure.
So what part of New York are you at right now?
So we are right outside of Manhattan. It takes about 40 minutes to get to downtown Manhattan on the West Side Highway. So we are in Westchester, New York, which is just a suburb outside the city.
Yep. But at least you're not in the middle of all that traffic. I love New York, but the traffic I could do without, bro. I don't know how the BQE is doing lately, but when I went, it was intimidating.
Oh yeah, man! A whole bunch of congestion and traffic, but yeah, we hang in there. That's about it.
Well, it's good for you. Good for you that you guys. I understand you just finished doing some moves and all that. So how's the spoken word circuit doing these days?
Really good in my opinion. Just super happy to be able to do this for Jehovah's People. Now, for a while I was doing it secularly. And I had to make the choice either to continue to do that or get myself together and make the truth my own. And so I had to leave it essentially. But no. Jehovah definitely gave it back to me.
Of course.
There's a nice little circuit of witness friends that do it. And so we were doing it before the pandemic. But once the pandemic happened, it reminds me of the scripture that says, go to your inner rooms. So that's exactly kind of what happened. And
right.
Our kind of small little circle of poets exploded into we met so many awesome friends from England and just all over the world. So our small little group of poets have grown, and now we have workshops where we get together and learn how to write poetry. And obviously we have shows. We had shows during the pandemic. We had shows before the pandemic. We have shows after the pandemic. We just had a show last weekend in New Jersey. It was absolutely awesome. Awesome. And I think the next show is next month, and that's going to be in Detroit. So it's been awesome. Absolutely
that's
awesome.
Crazy. That's really good.
Yeah.
So do you have a show coming up pretty soon?
I don't have a show coming up I will be doing some stuff a little later during the year. So in fact, let me just announce this now because I'm terrible at it, just horrible at it. But if you
That's
could
two of
follow
us.
me on Instagram, that way you can keep up to date on the upcoming shows and the upcoming workshops. And the name on Instagram is hostage underscore 914. It's the area code where I'm from. Hostage
914.
underscore 914. And in fact, I'll throw it in the chat also.
Yeah. So so at yeah, you do that over there. And in the meantime, I'm gonna there he is, the hostage 914.
Yep.
All right. And we get a double shot. Well, welcome hostage 914. That makes a lot of sense. The 914 is the area code in New York. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
So
Yep.
why hostage though? I think a lot of the friends are kind of like, okay, what is that? Is that a
Yeah.
cry for help? Is it
Yeah.
is it's very unique. I got to give you that.
It's like why is this brother being captured by a hostage? No, it's very interesting. It may even be kind of a little off-putting at first when you hear the name, but in fact, when I first started writing, and even to this day, I don't choose to write. There's never been a time where I said, "Oh, today I'm going to sit down at 8 o'clock and write a poem." It's never been that. Instead, the work will come and get me, and take me hostage, whether it's late at night, whether I have to wake up and get out of bed. One of my poems, I remember we were on the way back from our seldom work territory,
Oh
and
wow.
everyone's enjoying breakfast, and I'm like a madman. Like everyone's like bacon and eggs and pancakes, and I have like the placemat, and I have like crayons, like kind of like writing a piece, like, and everyone's like, "You okay?" I'm like, "I have to write this poem." So yeah, hostage, because the work comes and takes me hostage, and I can't get away from it when I have to write. Also, I can lean into a little bit of that as far as when I'm performing. I try to
You surrender.
take my audience on a ride
Mm,
and kind of put them in the poem and make it very personal to them so that they feel like they are a part of the creative process.
got
Um,
it.
so yeah. So a long, kind of a long way around it, but yeah, that's why I've always kind of named myself hostage.
When I met you, I thought, okay, he must be some kind of Latino because he uses his hands a lot. So how important is the hand gestures and the expressiveness in what you do? Because as somebody just said, I've never heard of spoken word. What is spoken word, and why the use of hands? How does that uh, delineate what you're doing?
It's very interesting. Um, when I first kind of started going to open mics where I live, in Westchester, New York, there's a very well known school that is very, very expensive, and very, very wealthy people will send their kids there. Um, and it's like going to Juilliard and all these other really, really fancy schools. And, some of the kids would come to this open mic, and I would read a couple poems. And then people, after um, after the poetry show, open mic, they would come to me and they would say, "Where were you trained? What school did you go to?"
Right.
And I would always be like, "No, I didn't go to school." Like I just, not until maybe a year or so after I was talking to my wife, and it kind of dawned on us, yeah, we did go to school.
Right.
Theocratic Ministry School has taught us so much as far as gestures, emphatic gestures, what we do with our voice as far as pitch, pausing, pace, um, and power, right? And so all that stuff I attribute to my training growing up as a little boy in a theocratic ministry school,
Right.
and and spoken word is is akin to that in the sense that it's more than just words on a page. It's like these beautiful expressions that can really touch the heart and the mind and the soul, and really like dig deep down inside of us, and touch us in ways kind of like music, just the same way music does, so it's, I guess that's the best way to describe spoken word. But all the training that I have, I definitely attribute to that. And yeah, use my hands a lot. And so 2 seconds. We were getting ready for the poetry show last weekend, and we were going through our pieces, and the sister was reading a piece, and I don't remember the exact words, but she said, I'll make it up. Yesterday you felt so far away. And I was like, oh, that sounds good, but make it sound far away. Make it Yesterday you were so far away, right?
Got it.
It's all the difference,
Descriptive.
right? Yeah. Stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And it's not only it's emotional distance, and it's a physical distance, and yeah. So I just asked a poll to see how many people do we have here in the audience that are actually poets, and it's a large number right now. We've got 67%. It's are saying 70% are saying that they're a poet. So
Wow.
I think is it me, or it feels like we are all given to even if we're not aware, but we are poetic, right? Would you say that?
It's true. Yeah. I mean, there's so much of it in the Bible. It's all around us. Um, I have a poem that I wrote many years ago. And I was just kind of like walking down the street, and I saw someone, and I was like, wow, she looks like a poem. Just like what was her background? Where did she? I just made up this whole story about her, and like, who knows? But yeah, I mean, poetry is all around us, just from the way the wind blows, and
Mm.
the weather today. Like, yeah, we're surrounded by it, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful gift from Jehovah. It
Wow,
really is. Yeah.
that's incredible. That is incredible. So, you you have a few pieces for us today, right?
I
Um,
do.
so before we start, what really got you? You said that when you were a child, you had theocratic school, but was there someone in particular that kind of saw and nurtured your gift?
Um. Yeah. I would say there was a when I started going to open mics. There was a person. His name was Raul Maldonado, and he saw me at one of my first kind of open mics, just trying it out, kind of learn the craft,
Mhm.
and he's like, oh, you're great. Oh, like, like, what are you talking about? No, 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 like, and he kind of like taught me some things about poetry. And at that time, I must say, it was slam poetry, which
Mm.
is a little different than what I do now. Slam poetry is competition, um where you verse 30 other poets. You'll walk into a cafe, namely the New Yorican Poetry Cafe, which is my favorite place, one of my favorite places in the world. It's down in the city on 3rd Street between Avenue B and C. And you walk into the building, you sign up on the list, and it's you verse 30 other poets. Everyone does a poem. You have 3 minutes. There's three judges, and they judge you from 1 to 10, and whoever gets the highest score moves on to a second round,
Mhm.
where it's you versus five poets. And whoever wins that goes to a Friday night, which is you versus three other poets, so forth and so on, till you get to like a grand slam. And then if you win that, along with like 3 or 4 other consecutive weeks where they also choose champions,
Yeah.
um, if you do that, then you get to go to something called the National Poetry Slam, which is held in a different city every year. So I was doing that type of thing,
Wow.
and ended up making it to the nationals twice. But he kind of taught me some of that, like so every poem has to be 3 minutes or less, so forth and so on. He kind of taught me the rules of that, and then me and my wife started going to the Nuyorican. So I think Raul, I would have to say he was instrumental in that young part of my growth.
Hmm.
And then I started meeting other folks and started and then after all the competition, I came back into the truth and got my act together. So um that's when I started meeting a lot of my poetry family who are witnesses, and that kind of changed my work in
Interesting.
in a significant way.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Can we hear in what way it changed? Do you have a do you have a piece that you would like to showcase? You know where you think you've transitioned or how we can.
Sure. Yep.
Okay.
And let's do this. A poetry show is very interesting if you ever been to one. It's very interactive, very interactive. The audience plays such a large factor in the enjoyment of the show. We tell our audiences when we go to poetry show, anytime I'm hosting a poetry show, I say, please, whatever you do, don't be quiet during the show.
Right.
If you hear something that makes you laugh, we want you to laugh out loud. If you hear something that makes you sad, we want you to sad out loud. Just we need audible exclamations. So obviously we can't do that here, being virtually, but we do have the chat. We do have the chat. So
We
what
do.
I
So
want you to do,
what is the equivalent of clapping?
yeah.
What would they put up on the
So
on the
so
chat?
any
Ones and
emojis
fives.
that they want. But what I would really like for them to do, there's this really interesting thing that happens in poetry and spoken word. Um, a poet will say a sentence, and you're like, oh, what does that mean? You think about it, but you don't have much time to think about it because they're on to the next sentence. They're on to the next sentence. So what I want you to do, if possible, grab a line out of the poem that you hear, grab it and put it in the chat.
There
Write
you
it,
go.
type
Good
it, boom,
idea.
boom, boom. Put it in the chat, and we'll chat about it. We'll chat about the line that you grabbed. Because there's this encode and decode, and it happens really fast. I encode, you decode, and then I'm off to the next sentence. But if you have a moment, just grab a line, something that you hear, 2 or 3 words, put it in the chat along with
Nice.
emojis, whatever you like.
Okay.
So,
That
yep,
that's fair enough. And then when you come back, please explain a little bit more about encode decode. And
yep.
I'm going to put you front and center. I want the founders to see you here, front and center. And again, that's hostage 914 here on the Lounge of Sound.
It's poems about my mom. Um, I must have been, I don't remember, 21, 22. I had just, or maybe a little older actually, because I had just moved back home, because I had lost my job. It was shortly after 9/11, and they laid off a whole bunch of people. Um, and I eventually moved back home, getting ready to move back out. And I happened to catch a glimpse of her looking in the mirror, and she was looking at her gray hairs. Looking in the mirror, looking at her gray hairs, and this is the poem. It's called Mama's Grays. She threatens them every morning at 7 with black dye, talking to numbers 3 and 31 as if they were her fourth and fifth born. And I often wondered if I caused 18 through 25. God forbid. See, I was never problematic, except that time I broke the window at the Kingdom Hall twice. Or that time I was arrested the night before the 4-day assembly. But enough about that. She finds herself in the mirror, feeling misplaced in her reflection, cursing wisdom rearing its ugly head, thinking to herself that somehow, after being a single mother 3 times, time has finally caught up with her. She stares at her gray hairs, as if almost trying to force them to fall out. She couples age and wisdom together finer than Einstein's last thought. She has sterling silver spun in her hair and the song of southern slaves humming in cotton fields. So moments of clarity came and went with the sunset, ripping off small pieces of herself to make us whole. You have rightfully earned what you have, mother. Having raised 3 generations single-handedly with both hands tied behind your back, both feet shackled in sorrow, looking back on the future, wishing tomorrow, hoping that today's meal might produce itself, finding fulfillment in the small things like the hugs and goodnight kisses from your children. I don't think there's any way you're mortal. See, Mount Vesuvius is envious of your shadow. You, the controller of the wind, you, canary diamond roses in the Garden of Eden, are jealous of your scent. You, the one that has the 9-planet alignment in her spine. You, progressive beauty. You, priceless perfection. You, my mother of pearl. Thank you.
I had to do that because it's like it's got to be really difficult because you are feeding off the energy of the crowd, right? When you're so it's got to be. I know how it is for me. You know, I'm performing. Usually they sometimes they feel like I'm talking to them, but I'm talking past the camera. So that's got to be tiring. But so tell me a little, tell us a little about this poem. I mean, what obviously you're talking about your mother and she means a lot to you, but where is the catharsis? Is it when you're writing the poem or when you're declaring your love to her?
Yes. I would say yes is the answer to that question. Kind of both in the sense, while writing the poem, I feel like sometimes it's not me. Oddly enough, I feel like it's hostage who's writing the poem, or the person who's been taken hostage, or the gift of the poem that's been given to me by Jehovah, and then delivering it, and some of the stuff in the poem, understanding right away, and then some of the stuff in the poem not understanding to many years later. Like, for instance, in this poem, in the very beginning, there's numbers. I say, she threatens them every morning at 7 with black dye. 7 a.m. I'm talking about time, but also we know what the number 7 means in the Bible.
Right. Yeah.
And then I said she's talking about the numbers of her gray hair. She's talking to number 3 and 31. If you just break that number down, 3, and that's another 7. Oh, and then I say, I often wondered if I caused 18 through 25. The difference between 18 and 25 is also another 7. So it's just very interesting how things kind of happen, kind of these I don't know what they call them, mistakes on purpose. I don't know what they are, but these things that materialize in these poems, and then kind of a moment where there's a lot of truth, like, oh, I wasn't problematic except that time I broke the window at the Keenum Hall twice, or yeah, which really happened. And then you go, or the night I was arrested. Oh, but enough about that, So it's super interesting, just the memory of seeing her there, her looking at her gray hair as if it was, looking at it like it wasn't a crown of beauty,
right? Like it was happening in real time, right?
Right, yeah.
So the difference between a happenstance and a memory, it's so which one do we grab onto and which one do we hold on to as to further our cause or our development? Or that's incredible. Well, thank you so much for sharing, because I know I think it's an act of bravery every time one of you goes out. What I do is we want to be creative, and it is the arts. You know, I play guitar, but I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind that. And it's almost like singing without music, right? What you're doing.
Right. It's true.
Do you ever
Yeah.
draw inspiration from the music, or where do you get your rhythm? You have a different cadence than everybody else, right?
Yeah. I didn't at first, and I don't know when it started, but I always do now. I write to music usually. Usually
Mm,
it's some type of loop, something going on, something without words, but it's just like a continuous loop. And I make my own music. I'm really bad at advertising, so I'll just say this now. The My poetic album is out on all streaming platforms. It's called Lucille's Son. Also my Instagram, you'll find my poetry and all the music I made myself. Um, it, it's just kind of like a branch off. I find music to be very, very healing and cathartic, and music can put me in a space, a very interesting space, and I use it as a vehicle because I I'm my wife, amazing poet, absolutely amazing poet, and she can
really?
write huge. Oh, oof, oof.
Tomes.
Oh my goodness. And she can write huge chunks at a time. Um I'm very slow, usually kind of like a line at a time. So sometimes I'll write just a small paragraph and then that's it. That's all I got for it. And then let's say I go back to it. Usually I'll go back to the music also to put me back in that space with the space I was at previously and try to get back where I was. And
Right.
sometimes that's the challenge. And
Right.
sometimes a poem will run away from you. Sometimes you have to chase a poem down. Uh
I
so
like that.
um
There's a lot of
yeah.
imagery there. I like that. Does your wife use a lot of imagery too? Well, maybe we should have had
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, oh my goodness.
So she's kind of a
She's beautiful.
multitasker when it comes to poetry because if they've got it's a dance, but yours there's an different kind of intensity and a different kind of a will, right?
Yeah, she's an emotional writer. She has this beautiful piece now, where she talks about something that she's kind of I don't want to put her on blast, but something that she's kind of currently dealing with that a lot of women can relate to. And Man, she's just awesome. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
awesome. Well,
She's
who
just so
knows?
awesome.
Maybe one of these days she'll say
Yeah,
yes, and we'll have her here, or
yeah,
you bring her out and
yeah.
have her own feature. Well,
That'll be
as
awesome.
you know, as a musician, every kind of rhythm and tempo and cadence it attracts my attention, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
um, when I started listening to spoken word, I think it was a movie that I was watching, and
Mm.
it enthralled me because I used to watch a lot of Shakespeare, Shakespeare in the Park and whatnot. And it was California; it wasn't like New
Mm-hmm.
York. There's a lot of Shakespearean actors, but there's a lot of da. It's cyclical. That's the word, cyclical. But this is different. This is a different, very unique, very urban. And so I'm really looking forward to learning more from you, especially about the encode and decode. But I do have to put the audience on blast because they were quoting your piece. So I don't know if you have their comments there, but finding fulfillment in the small things like the hugs and the good night kisses for your children, cursing wisdom, rearing its ugly head, nine planet alignment in her spine. She couples age and wisdom together as it was Einstein's last thought. So quite a few people really picking up and listening.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, yeah, I see some of them. Um,
How does that affect you when you see that? What lines work or connect?
yeah, when someone picks up a small line like that, like um, see couples age and wisdom together finer than Einstein's last thought, right? It's just like this grandiose statement. which is so true of my mother, who was so wise, smart, and grew up in the South and Virginia, and made her way to New York, and just made a success out of herself, in the sense of, um, when the witnesses came to the door, my father was the one who accepted the study. My father was a preacher kid, was never any trouble, never drink, never smoke. My mom was the thug in the family.
Really?
She, yeah,
Does she know that?
yeah, yeah. There's this one line I have in a poem where I say, my mom used to sneak a knife inside the club just in case she had to cut somebody with her eyes. um
Wow.
and she's just tough, but
Wow.
um just a sweetheart. Oh, she is so kind and understanding and patient and loving and honest. And so when my father didn't want to study anymore, when my father told the witnesses to leave, after probably a couple a couple sit downs, my mom told them to stay. While they were talking to my mom, I mean, while they were talking to my dad, my mom was sweeping and cleaning up, but listening. And she picked up the sound of truth. She picked up the ring of truth. And once she did that, things were much better for all of us, of course, getting the truth. So yeah. So
It's
yeah, whoever
amazing.
picked up that line, thank you so much. That's awesome.
Well, I went ahead and I'm using one of the features here that it's a little poll, and it's I think we're split in half. Half of them think of themselves as poets, and I don't know if they're acting poets, but I'm really curious as to how they're developing and where they're at, and do they feel like they're poets or somebody's told them that. But
Mm.
it's really really incredible. So I'm going to try to. You tell me. I picked up a beat, and I'm gonna try to play something. And because of your rhythm, your rhyme, your cadence, let me see if I picked up a little something, okay? Because I try to learn for every artist that comes on.
Yep.
So like CJ Alabama's there. I've heard him, and he's got a different, unique take. So I'm gonna see if I can kind of interpret something, okay, with music. Earlier we said that you're like singing without music. Let me see if I can speak without words. So, and then when we come back, then we'll have you do another piece. How's that?
Sounds good.
Awesome. Okay. Here we go. All right, so I don't know how well I did, but I was trying to not be too wordy, get to the core, just kind of like something that
Yeah, I
harkens, that
loved
brings
it.
back, just kind of the
I loved
vibe.
I love
Yeah,
the vibe, the beat. It's very
yeah.
urban. It was very I loved it. Nah, it was awesome.
Sounds like we've got a lot of people coming in. We got CJ Alabama, put you on blast, bro. Algenia. There's a lot of people out there that like spoken word and that enjoy it, and I think understand it a lot more than me. But if I'm on the outskirts, at least I want to get a new. What do I need? Binoculars, a telescope. What do I want to get closer? But yeah, I'm definitely feeling the love that our crowd is starting to grow, and I think that they're trying to understand. If we don't understand, what I would like is for us to try to understand something different, right? It's sometimes we listen to a radio station and we just stay in one spot, but sometimes it's good to get away from the buttons and start using that dial,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
Get all
Yep.
in between spots of in between. What is it
Yep.
that you want people to hear? What should they be listening to, or how do they listen?
Good question. Um, just be relaxed in the sense that don't overwhelm yourself with trying to get every bit of it. I don't want someone to understand everything I say. I don't want my poem to finish. And he was like, I understood all of that. Hopefully, there's something that you didn't understand. Therefore, there's replay value. There
Right.
wouldn't be any replay value if you understood all of it. You know how many times you listen to your favorite song over and over again, and 10 years later you go, oh,
You want to leave a little
that's what they
something on
meant.
that bone to come back and gnaw on it later, right?
Right. So whatever strikes you, grab that. Hold on to that. Say, oh, I walked away with this, you
Yeah.
know? And that's why I say put it in the chat. Because if you write it down, it'll help you remember it even more.
There you go.
Um and through my work, just essentially that's a great question because I don't think I have like really like a game plan of what I want people to do or while they're listening to me. I just want them to be encouraged that there's this brother that you don't know and I don't know, but we know each other very well.
Right.
We have a lot of the same memories. We go to a lot of the same places. Jehovah's teaching us the same thing during the week. You know, I can jump on a plane and go to Australia and say, "Hey, did you like the watch hour on Sunday?" And they'll go,
Yeah.
"Yeah." You know,
Yeah.
like that. That's amazing. So, like, even though we haven't met, we're already family. When I went in to perform in England, um, we performed in England in October of last year, and the friends were just so loving and warm. And because we speak the same language, the pure language, they understood things right away. You
Awesome.
know? Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Would you please treat us with another piece?
yep. Um, this piece, um, shout out to CJ. CJ, he likes this piece a lot. He always calls me, man, I was listening to that, man. I was listening. And it's called Let It Rain. Um, and I was going through a tough time. And I really needed to take the ransom personal. Personal. It reminds me of that scripture in Romans. Miserable man that I am. Um, who could from this body undergoing this death, um sin's law that's inside of me, this war going on, and really taking the ransom personal and applying it and being okay with the forgiveness and being okay with the fact that Jehovah and Jesus sacrificed so much for all of us, yes, but for me. You have to take it personal. Um, also, again, jot down a line if something hits you. Also, there'll be a run. There'll be a run in here, a small chunk of Mary J. Blige songs. Let me know if you find one. It's called Let It Rain. Dear Ancient of Days, let your downpour reign supreme. Let your heavens of heavens moisture saturate my skin, then maybe all this shame could wash away. Maybe this regret from my sins one day could wash away. Maybe all this guilt can corrode so one day your fire will live in my bone marrow. Let your sun shower brighten my darkest day. If I allow pain in, I wonder if it will make way for healing. Imagine if one of my ancestors cried and danced the jig and their tears filled up a cloud and it spilled over the brim. Let it rain. Today's forecast calls for heat. It took me years to break the weather front, so this will be supernatural. You know, supernatural. No ghost whooping. Listen, God's hands are molding me like clay, and yesterday I couldn't recognize the man looking at me in the mirror. So good morning, gorgeous. Share my world, but first take care of him. He's broken and blue. He's experiencing a lot of breaking pains. Help him break through. Ain't no way we're going to allow him to do this to you. We've been too strong for too long. You and me, we done had enough rainy days, so no more drama. What's the 411 for real, love? It ain't over till it's over. So when you hug him, make sure you hold him. Because he's fragile like a bomb, but dangerous like an unfinished poem. His skin, brown, rye whiskey, 100 proof, spirit, honey bourbon. His soul has been trampled on by the best, so you gotta get in line. His eyes are the color of those who've been disenfranchised, but you can still hear his smile from a mile because every line he writes is lined with anthrax. The relapse always anticlimax, so I'm gonna leave all the suffering today in the syntax. Let it rain. And the sun don't dry nothing over here. Everything been fire. I wrote this poem while crying. The humidity filled the keyboard. Because I dated hope, she broke my heart. I called it courage. She left a gloom on me. I told my darkest secret to the wind. As soon as she blew away, she left all the details on a billboard. So I had to push and pull myself together because these rhymes ain't for talent shows. I poured my soul and leave rings of grief on loose leaf. I tried to do it my way, but it's always better Yahweh. So Jehovah, please save this soul and resurrect the bones of this withered warrior. Let your son's millennial rain down on me and purify my heart. Wash away that fleshly man and his wicked heart and teach me how to love. No, Jehovah, please. Teach me how to be loved, not to be puffed up in it, with and without jealousy, not to keep account of the injury, because, oh God, I added up. I grab an abacus and put power behind it. I divide the difference. I'm an improper fraction. I always multiply the negatives in my life and add the remainder. It's hard to get to the root of the problem, so catch me in your net. Teach me your order of operations so I can beat the odds, dear Jah. I'm trying my best to get to my heart. I'm trying my best to get to my heart. But every morning when I wake up, it's across a moat. I wear it on a sleeveless coat. Let your downpour beat my back wet. Let your heavens of heavens moisture my skin, then Maybe this shame can shower away. Maybe regret from my sins could one day wash away. Maybe this guilt can corrode so your fire can live in my bone marrow. Let your sun shower brighten my darkest day. Imagine if one of my ancestors cried and danced a jig and their tears filled up a cloud and it spilled over the brim. Let it rain.
Nice, very nice. To hold that kind of intensity, that kind of dynamic, that kind of emotional control, I think that's my takeaway. How do you pace yourself when you do that for a show? I mean, because you're drawing. Are you living it at that moment, or is it half acting and half actually living?
I find the only way to do it respectfully is to find the emotion that I had when I wrote the piece. So yeah, I go to that place. I do return to a memory. I do return to a feeling, because you have to feel the poem. Once you find the poem, you have to feel it. Some poems can be silky smooth. Some poems can be fun and lighthearted. Some poems can be rough and gritty. So yeah, um, it's tough to pace myself. Usually after a full set of poems, if I'm featured somewhere, usually after a full set, I'm exhausted. I'm pretty tired.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can tell because you are very honest and very direct. I think that's why when we were talking about, usually I ask an artist, why do you do what you do, or what are you seeking? And you said truth, one word. And even though you are compelled, and we learned that during this week that compelled, it means something different rather than to be pushed and obligated. Compelled could be something a lot more worthwhile and deeper in the meaning. And yet you chose one word and you said truth. So what would you like to tell us about truth?
There's a line in this poem, and we're talking about truth. Sorry, friends, I'm sick. I mean,
It's okay.
horrible all week. Been horrible all week, believe it or not. And I know where I got it from. Which I'm honored. Um, um, in the town that I live, in Ossining, New York, there's a very famous prison. That is one of the oldest and biggest prisons ever to exist, and it's called Sing Sing. You would see it in a whole bunch of gangster movies
Mm-hmm.
back in the day. They
Sing
used to say,
Sing,
"Oh, I'm
Rikers.
going to send you up the river," and that was Sing Sing. Um, and it's been a year and a half since we've been able to get in and see our incarcerated brothers. Um, they
Wow.
shut down the program, all the programs, all the volunteer programs. Um, they shut down all the programs, so it's been a year and a half, and so we haven't seen our brothers. So we've been requesting to get back in, requesting to get back in. They ignored all our requests up until Wednesday afternoon, the
Wow.
day before the memorial. The day before the memorial, I get an email. I sent 20 emails before that, but I get one email Wednesday afternoon that said, "What time are you guys coming?" So we go in, and on the inside you have two incarcerated brothers who love you very much, and you have two unbaptized publishers who love you very much. So yeah, they definitely got me sick. I can't wait to see them. I'm like, yo, got me sick.
Well, yeah, it's well earned, right? So then it's like
Yeah.
You know, because it's a
Beautiful thing.
vulnerability that you allowed to go through, and so you almost
Right.
feel like you're there with them. You brought back a little something of them,
Yeah.
a little of the virus.
A little more, yeah, a little keepsake, a little takeaway.
my,
And
my 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 good sister Deborah King, she says, "Bring out the jar, my brother." That's a true artist. Hashtag true artist.
and and so truth. There's a poem, there's a piece in this poem where um I say today's forecast calls for heat. It took me years to break the weather front, obviously the weather front, but also growing up, there was a term that we used called fronting, like used to front, like you know what I mean, like you're
Absolutely.
not being
Yeah. Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
So it took me years to break the weather front. Like it took me years to stop being. You'll hear this other piece I have all these other influences
Putting up the
on,
fence.
yeah, and all these other influences on us. I'll just speak from the male perspective, where we're told to be certain things, where we're told to be this, where we're told to be that, where it's the music or television or books, or where you have to be this, you have to be that, you got to be a smooth rapper, you got to have 20, 30 girls, right? Like you, like all the, weather front. You know what I mean? It took me years to break the weather front. So I say this would be supernatural. You know, no, supernatural.
Absolutely.
Like very normal,
Very
very
normal. Very
natural. And I go
natural.
no
Yeah.
ghost whoopee. Obviously, right? So no
Right.
ghost, obviously whoopee, but the movie, you know, anyway,
Of
you
course.
guys get it.
Of course. I got it.
Um,
We got it.
yeah, you get it. So, so truth is so important when coming into making the truth your own, but you got to be truthful with yourself. Starts there, man. You got to be truthful with yourself and the things that you struggle with and the things that you're having a hard time with, and be truthful with Jehovah and be truthful with the brothers. That's the only way you could get help.
Very
It's like if
nice.
you go to the doctor and you really don't tell them what's wrong with you, they're not they're not going to be able to help, you
Right.
know? Yeah. So,
Well, right. So you're compelled. You're saying that you're compelled by love. So far, we touched on the love of your mother, and then
yeah.
we talked about these of our friends that they're prisoners. But it's there's a different agape love there, and so there's an underlying current, right? And we keep talking on the
Oh,
show about how to stay positive, and it seems like love is a common denominator, right? In your
Yep.
writings, in the way you live your life, and that's wonderful.
Yep.
Is there someone else or another kind of love that you've written about that you hold very near to your heart?
Of course. I mean, of course, my wife. You know, we could talk about that type of love. You know,
Why not?
all right.
That's my
Um,
favorite kind of love, right? I mean, yeah.
yeah,
So you earlier you mentioned that she's an incredible poet.
she
Have
is.
you written something for her?
I have. Yeah, yeah. I do have
Would it be
my.
too much imposition to ask you if you'd be willing to, to share? I mean, I know it's unearthing. It's showing vulnerability.
Of course, I could do it. Write a love poem. You know, recite a love poem to my wife. Taking a look at the comments. Oh, someone called "Good morning, gorgeous." That's right.
Yeah.
Share my world, but please take care. Take care. 411. Someone catching it. Real love. That's right. Someone said you can hear his smile from a mile. It's a nice little inner rhyme there. A nice little inner rhyme. Oh yeah, I try to do it my way, but it's always better Yahweh. You guys, that's that pure language. You get it. Oh, that was from Wit. Oh yeah, right. The heavens of heavens moisturate my skin. Um. Oh yeah, all that math stuff. Catch me in your net so I could beat the odds. Awesome. Oh, this is an awesome audience, man. Awesome audience.
Awesome. Everybody's really into it.
Awesome
Yeah.
audience, man. Great listeners. So when I after I saw my mom and her gray hairs, I moved out. No. Before that, I met my wife when I was living in the Bronx. living in the Bronx. I met my wife December of 1999, and one thing about her, she was just really, really easy to talk to. And I enjoy this. For me, listen, ain't nothing like a good conversation. Oof. When you got this banter back and forth with someone, and like, and all my stupid little jokes she laughs at, I was like, wow, man, she's the one. She laughs at my jokes. Um, anyway, it was a cruise full of witnesses. I affectionately now call it the Love Boat. And we just talked, and I love just being around her. On the boat, there's a section of the boat called the solarium. It's where people go to tan. Obviously, it worked very well. All windows, all windows, and it's called the solarium, right? Solarium, and uh, I wrote this poem and like a small bit of it for another album. One of my other poetic brothers, we both wrote poems to our wives, and he used it on his album. Shout out to Sounds of Fire. So this poem to my wife, her name is Angie. She's beautiful in so many different ways. This poem is called Solarium.
What's your nickname for her? You have a nickname for Angie, right?
Um, yeah, I mean, we call her Mariposa. We got a whole bunch of names for her,
Very
man. But
nice. Yeah, I saw that
yeah,
on
yeah.
Instagram, so I just thought I'd.
Mariposa, butterfly. Yeah, my baby.
Very nice. Take your time. Take your time.
I love it when you talk to me. It's your tone for me. It's the rhythm in your rasp, the smile in your jab, the soul in your adverbs. Then and now, I can't wait for your sweet enunciation, anticipation of your vocalations, because you're often loquacious. At first, it was all about our conversations, talking about our souls in the solarium. No doubt the sun was trapped. It was the comfort that came from your chords, the verbs and nouns, the bark in your smile, oh child. Is that vengeance in your frown? I love it when you say good morning, baby. As you drag yourself from sleep, I'll make us tea, awake, tazzle my damsel in distress, your skin a sound wave. But I'm sapio, so what are you thinking? Cause your brain got the prettiest legs. Your thoughts expansive like a planetarium, the deepest blue aquarium, so we seasick off love. From stern to bow, we keep an even keel because Jehovah of armies at the steering wheel. In the heavenly realm is only begotten at the helm. And Mira, look at me. Mira, look at me. I'm the captain now. So to keep our love boat afloat, he say with faith, you could walk on water. And since we good for nothing slaves, how about we do a moonwalk on a wave? I love your alliteration. You have the best annotation in the nation. The color of your voice speaks the language of angels, and she's so spiritual. I love when she makes comments about the Almighty. I love to reminisce about the fruit of her lips. I'll sing your song even in a metal lung. I lack nothing of value. She been Proverbs 31. There's just something about the way her skin soaks up the sun. I can hear a melody in your melanin. There's a rhythm in your radiance. A tinge of survivor's guilt in your cadence because you made it. This might end up being a love poem. or at least a letter begging you to never leave, because you are the center of my solar system. So sun, moon, and stars when you and I verse. Your smile caused a nuclear reaction to my core, Chernobyl. It was a terawatt explosion. My broken heart washed ashore, for sure, mi amor. Yo smile, dangerous. Once rumored to knock down buildings, but has proven to sustain this happy family union. You helped me off my primrose path. You were from the Amazon. I was a Yahoo from Insta. When I saw you, my soul twittered. I asked you for your number. You handed me your Facebook, so I read it like a love poem. See, the day star was sent to Earth to save us. Abaddon swings his sword for our love, to salve you just from the clutches of sin and death. You are the sound of Grupo Nietzsche, Hector Lavoe, and Victor Manuel on a Sunday. Your kisses taste like pure azúcar. Sweet, like a love poem. My dearest lovely, you are both home and hearth. Your beauty is overqualified for this ratchet place we call Earth. You are tiger lily, lying in a field of white lavender. There's no peace without your relentless embrace. And I thank my beloved for suffering and dealing with all my imperfections. And if it's true that a robber can get into the kingdom of heaven, this servant boy humbly prays for your presence, because our lives are of no matter. We only need to stay faithful to death and exercise caution during this life, because the evil ones burning missiles seek to exile us. So run away with me into the summer midnight. Grab a hold of my hand. Let our fingers interlace forever, and let our palms sing psalms together like a love poem. Because you are everything, and the only thing that makes sense since we met. I can still smell the scent of your hypnotic poison fragrance, and your kiss is the last kiss I ever want to taste on my lips. Falling in love with you felt like falling 1,000 feet per second. Felt like we skydove. The ripcord was the meeting. The truth was our parachute. Love ain't what I came for, but it's here now and it feels good, so I'll take it hostage. You stole my heart. You were spotted with a red hat that said, "Make love great again." You knocked down the barriers and walls my heart built. You then stormed the Capitol and impeached my ex. You were really the incumbent from the start. No need for an expensive campaign. You've had me from grassroots, like 3 branches of government. So this house that we represent will serve Jah. We make executive decisions together. Let's just lay up here together and count our blessings. I love righteous. So when I kiss you, no need for judicial. There's just something about the way your skin soaks up the sun. I can hear a melody in your melanin. There's a rhythm in your radiance. There's a tinge of survivor's guilt in your cadence, because you made it. What have you done to me? You have ruined me for anyone else. The comparisons will always be unfair. Love poem. Thank you.
That was very touching. That was very moving.
Man, I love what you were playing. We have to record that.
We probably should. If I can manage to remember what I was playing.
This will be on the interwebs, so we'll come back
That's
to this.
true. That's true. You're right. That's absolutely right. Don't forget, Found It's this is going to be on replay, and hopefully if everything works out, because YouTube has been having some issues, and we've been emailing each other, and they've been emailing everybody. But anyway, hopefully it'll be in perpetuity. And so all of his information is right below the description. If you want to find him in the interwebs, and if you want to, donate for his cause, because he's traveling, and there's books and clothes and gas and time, and hopefully you feel empathy and compassion for his craft and his wives. And I want to thank you for sharing what you just did right now. That it really moved me, and I happen to be in that place in my life where, so si estás escuchando, my fiance is out in the audience, and even though she doesn't understand the English too well, but I think it's like music. You hear the rhythm and the intent, the love and the compassion, and we can hear that you are being swept up in the emotion, and I felt it. I mean, it was, I don't think interesting is the word. It was compelling. It was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. You took me somewhere, and it's been a while since I play accompaniment to somebody. In the past, I used to be that guy that would be, there would be a singer or whatever, and I'd be playing in the background, but I've not done this. So this is something unique. This is,
that was awesome.
Wow.
Loved it.
I'm deeply moved, and I hope I can
you.
do this again.
Thank you, Los. You're
Wow.
awesome, my brother. You're so
That's
talented.
incredible. Well, we still got a little bit of time on the clock, so you moved me. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna if I'm getting I'm scared is what I am. I'm gonna try something. There's some words of a song that I don't know that I feel comfortable singing the words, and so I think I'm gonna try to do this instrumentally. But it's a song that I heard, oh man, a long time ago, and I hope I can do some justice. And then when we come back, please grace us with another piece and give you a little time to get your composure there. So here we go, Found. Here's well, I'm not going to say the title. Hopefully you guys like this little piece and what I'm going to do with it. Okay, hang on. It would help if I had the volume up. Yeah, so you guys can see it. We get moved sometimes here on the Lounge of Sound, and sometimes we get put in the fields. You know what I mean? So at least I mean that's what happened to me right now. If whenever our friend is ready, but anyway, I want to thank you guys. I'm seeing I kind of got lost in the moment there, lost my hearing. The headphone came off, so I hope I stayed in pitch, but yeah, it's definitely not. I'll have to fix this a little while. But thank you so much for the kind regards, the kind thoughts, and hopefully you guys will see that I put a tag on Hostage 914. From here on out, I'm going to be trying to collaborate with every single one of the artists. It's another new feature from YouTube. If anybody out there in YouTube Landia is listening, thank you so much for doing that. I can now collaborate with artists. So artists, when you come on, please try to get your YouTube channel up so that we can send everybody over there. We can hit a little collaboration button. You guys can follow the link and it'll send you back there. So when Jess Vaughn comes on, or Deborah King, or any one of our wonderful friends are on, you can not just watch them here on the Lounge of Sound. Well, hopefully that collaboration will send you there to their page. So there he is. There's Hostage. Yes. Thanks so much for coming back. I know what it's like to when you've got you're working through a cold or something like that. It's like, wow, that's tough. That's really tough. And thanks for the inspiration, bro. That's the first time I was scared because I've never tried to Make It With You. The lyrics are a little, I wouldn't say bad, but they're definitely intense. And so I thought, I don't know that I feel comfortable singing the lyrics, but we'll play an instrumental. But that poem of yours moved me, and I was like, well, let's try this.
Oh, the instrumental sounded great. I never heard that before.
Neither have I. That's two of us. Would you be so kind as to? Do you have another piece that you would like to show us?
Sure. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Am I down to like my last two or
no? This is your show, so whatever you feel, your health. I'm more cognizant about that. You know what I mean? So.
Oh no, I'm good. What should we do? What should we do? Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this.
And then when in a little while, I think I'd like to, because you've moved me. I'm engaged, and you've got that lovely wife of yours. I'd like to see if I can play something that would honor your wife, So
awesome.
In a little while. So, but right now we want to hear you center stage. So if whenever you're ready, let me know, and I'm going to put you center stage. You ready? Okay, guys.
Again. Yeah.
Here he is. All right.
Let's do it again. um Kind of goes back a little bit to growing up in the truth and not being like ashamed of the truth, but kind of, it wasn't the cool thing, right? It wasn't the cool thing. um so growing up, that's a hurdle, and it still must be a hurdle for for the young ones now. And maybe not so much so in the sense that now you can be whatever you want. But we were kind of taught to, you got to be like this, and you got to be cool, and you got to dress this way, and you got to have Nikes and Jordans and look really cool all the time. And I didn't have those type of things. So um kind of relates back to song number 149, also to Proverbs 29:5, which says, trembling at man is a snare, um but the one trusting in Jehovah will be protected. So this poem is called Victory. It's kind of like my victory poem over my fear of men. In high school, it wasn't a secret that I was a witness. I just didn't go around telling everybody. I mean, after all I did go out in service, but I was afraid, worried, petrified, and nervous that every time I knock on a door, it just might be some kid I know. I just wanted to be a fly guy, you know? Rock an 8-ball jacket, triple fat goose with the African medallion, gazelle shades, hot top fade, Adidas with the fat laces, and maybe even a 4-finger ring. But I didn't realize the more I tried to look like them, walk, talk, think, and act like them, I was heartless and cold. The spirit of the world filled my lungs and corrupted my soul. But this is a victory poem because my fear of men is over. So I gladly answer yes every time they say, oh, Kenaya, you're a Jehovah? I'm a Jehovah. And I'm proud of my inheritance. I'm proud of my identity. The fruit of my lips will cover you in sweetness and season you with salt. My Father has preserved my heart, pepper my insides, and now I'm on fire with the truth. So I'll gladly tell you the truth about the dead. It's just a temporary pause in resurrection's next. I'll tell you the truth about his purpose for mankind, the earth, the original liar. I'm happy to tell you the truth about hellfire because I've been called by my Most High to eat and dine at his table. So I'm going to finish my food, take a doggy bag and share with someone new. I'm going to brag about my dad. He has the remedy to your sickness, the antidote for no hope. The great shepherd has rescued this wayward lamb and the lion of Zion, the Alpha and the Omega. His loving kindness you cannot top. The Ancient of Days can make your days nonstop. So praise Jah, you people. Hallelujah. And we can't wait for Jehovah's Day, when the sky turns all sorts of colors, striking men with fear and foreboding, the manifestation of a kingdom nation, the blinding light from the highest height, and they will throw their paper, their silver, their gold into the streets. And the gluttonous will follow behind with bottomless buckets, soon realizing that it's all worthless. A day of darkness for some, light for others. Regret will play in reverb. Some will try to regurgitate their mistakes, but the throw up will be too late. But for those who have chosen Jehovah, stand and see your salvation. Lock your eyes on your Father in the sky and sing out loud to him, the Most High over all, the one who is forevermore the same, the one that will cause his enemies to fall, and he will sanctify his holy name. This was the poem today that my heart needed to hear. This was the poem today that my lungs needed to write because I'm no good without Jehovah in my life. See, when I was in the world, I thought I was fly. I thought I was super, man. Started living a double life. I would go to the meetings in the club in the same night I was living in the shadows, man. Tiptoeing in my house after hours, I almost stepped on the cat. Whoa, man. My mother, beautiful, single mother with 3 kids. She was amazing. Wonder, whoa, man. She would say, Kenaya, Satan hates you. You skating on thin ice, man. He wants to crush you like an ant, man. He's a hungry, roaring lion seeking to devour. You got a target on your back. X, man. I should have taken time out. Notice creation, smell the flowers, look at the birds, man. But nothing was Gucci. All I wore was angry. All I could see was red, man. Praying if I die, hope praying to you, God, that you resurrect me by any method, man. I should have been preparing for my meetings. Should have read my Bible more. Why? Because iron sharpens iron, man. Sometimes I felt so worldly, I could feel it crawl all over me like a radioactive spider, man. Sometimes I felt so dirty, wished I could get baptized again, but this time I would stay under the water much longer. Aqua, man. Now I'm in the world, depressed, sad, and lonely, surrounded by all my sins and all my woes. Man, not realizing that the whole time, Jehovah was going to bat for me. Man, let the congregation say, "Ay." Thank you.
That was great, great. Somebody wrote that it was a victory poem. Whoa, man. That is so great, man. Well, I hope you don't mind. I don't know how you're feeling, bro, but I just asked one question, one
Yeah.
word, because we're talking about truth, and I put encore. 91% says yes. So I don't
Yep.
know how.
I got one more in me.
One more? Okay. Do
Yep.
you need a little break? I was going to try to surprise your wife, but if we need to,
Yeah, I want you to. I want to hear you. I want to hear
Okay,
you, bro.
okay.
Yep.
This is because you told me she's Latina, and
Yes,
this
sir.
is this is a song that goes way back. It's called Piel Canela. Es un bolerito. Angie Mariposa. I hope you got this is for both of you, not just for her, because I respect, bro. I respect. Okay, here we go.
Yep.
Un bolerito para todos mis hermanos y hermanas. Que se quede el infinito sin estrellas o que pierda el ancho mar su inmensidad, pero el negro de tus ojos que no muera y el canela de tu piel se quede igual. Si perdiera el arco iris su belleza y las flores su perfume y su color, no sería tan inmensa mi tristeza como aquella de quedarme sin tu amor. Me importas tú y tú y tú, solamente tú y tú y tú. Me importas tú y tú y tú y nadie más que tú. Ojos negros, piel canela, que me llevan a desesperar. Me importas tú y tú y tú y solamente tú y tú y tú. Me importas tú y tú y tú y nadie más que tú. Para las playas de Borrinquen, Islas Dominicanas y México, Brasil, Haití, Tobago, Bahamas. Saluditos. Pianito, sabroso. A ver, dilantitos. El sol está fuerte, qué bonito. Portas tú y tú y tú y solamente tú y tú y tú. Me importas tú y tú y tú y nadie más que tú. Ojos negros, piel canela, que me llegan a desesperar. Me importas tú y tú y solamente tú y tú y tú. Me importas tú y tú y tú y nadie más que tú. Y nadie más que tú.
Give
We
it up
hope.
for Los.
Thank you so much for coming and inspiring us and giving us a little taste of spoken word. Before we leave and before you do your encore, what should we be asking you? What words of wisdom do you have for people that feel inspired, that feel creative, but feel afraid? Maybe they sing or they play music, but they've never gone into the foray of how do you put yourself out emotionally, and any words of wisdom on how can we achieve this bravery, this courage, this vulnerability?
Yeah, there was a comment that I read. I don't remember who put it, but
Thank you for the courage of writing that, by the way. I won't put you on blast. Whoever said that was very smart, because I think a lot of us are feeling that too.
yeah. And she said something about how it was, I think, a little easier for her to sing, a
Hmm.
little harder. She felt more vulnerable when it was
Expose.
just, the spoken word. And you don't understand the gravity of and the amount of people that you are helping with your words. You know, we've been doing shows. I started doing, like I said, when I made the truth my own, back in some years ago. And I started performing for the Friends, um back in '09, before I was doing it secularly. But you know, so many friends came up to me after and said, "Wow, that's exactly how I feel. Wow, you know, that's um I'm so glad that you expressed it that way, you know." Or I have a piece that we didn't get to called Chocolate Boy, where they say,
Can I have
"Wow,
you get a little closer
I,
to the mic? I'm sorry. It's
yep,
somebody is saying that they're
yep."
struggling to hear you.
I have a piece called Chocolate Boy where I speak to kind of like young men. And, you know, so many parents say, wow, I want to share that with my young one. I want to share
Mhm.
that with my young one. So just, although you may feel more vulnerable, um, you will help so many people with your words and the way you express yourself. So don't be afraid to do it. It will help a lot of
Got it.
folks. Yeah.
So by
And
relenting, or what would you call that? Is it relenting, relinquishing? But you're kind of you you're upbuilding, right? I don't know where I heard this, but we don't build by taking bricks away. We build by adding, and then we need the
mm,
mortar of love, right, to kind
I
of.
like that. Hey, for a while when I was performing, I would close my eyes. The audience wouldn't be there. Still, sometimes that happens.
That happens to me too. Guilty.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're not there. You know, they're not there. Of course, I'm sharing it. I'm sharing it. It's I write not all my poems I share, but the ones I write to be shared. Um, uh, I read this quote one time: "The poem is no longer yours after a while. You
Mm.
share it, you give it away." But while I'm performing it, sometimes my eyes are closed and I'm in a totally different place. I performed last year in Philadelphia, or the year before in Philadelphia, and someone said, "Oh, how would you feel about your performance?" And I said, "I don't remember it." It's true. You know, you're giving
You
and you're
traveled.
pouring out so much that after you're done, you're just like, woof, and you actually just don't remember it. So, um, yeah, yeah,
It happens. It happens.
it happens.
It courage. I
Yep.
mean, those were my words, but I was afraid to say. That was my attempt. It's like we don't build by
Right.
withdrawing bricks, right? So
Mm,
there you go. So I have to be true to the mission that you're saying. So I'm going to take that as a lesson, not just the person who made that wonderful comment, but I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what? We can learn a lot from our spoken word artists.
yeah.
The vulnerability, the love, the compassion, the
Yep.
empathy. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for your gift.
don't be shy to share. Please don't be shy to share. You know, we work on that in the workshop that I have. If you're ever interested in taking the workshop, follow me on Instagram. There'll be
Okay,
another one soon. And it's called Find Your Voice, where we really kind of dig into
important. Yeah.
you, and you find your voice, and you are uniquely you. You know, sometimes a poet will write a poem and say, "Oh, you read it." Like, no, I don't. You read it. You will do it far better justice than I
Right.
can, because it's your words. You know, so
When did you find your voice? Can I ask that?
ugh, hmm, I don't know if I have.
Okay.
Um,
When did you start
yeah,
writing the poetry? When were
yeah.
you compelled?
Well, when I was young, I wanted to be, as that piece said, kind of like a rapper. I wanted to be Big Daddy Kane, if anyone remembers him.
Yep. Yep.
Just because I was so impressed with the way he put words together, and he was so cool, and he was a brown brother like me.
Yeah. You
And
fly.
so that's when I really started to kind of realized that there was something to the music to me, and I loved the way it sounded, and I love like the instruments and like these boom bap beats and this dark
Yep.
kind of like grimy kind of bass lines.
Yeah.
And then when I started writing poetry in 2000 is when I started writing poetry. maybe a little earlier than that, maybe like 99 or 98. My friend, he taped something for me on TV, and it was called Slam, and it followed four people who were in a collective that were from the New Eurekan poetry place, and they were going to the nationals. And I found this one guy, his name was Saul, and I just loved the way he would write because it was so big and grandiose, but like really smart. And he was like a tactician, and
Yeah,
I
it's
really fell
granular.
in
Yeah.
love with words. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And obviously, as we spoke about, maybe like a year ago, so I fell in love with the melody of Asaph, Psalm 93.
Love it. Yeah.
Fell in love with Proverbs 97. Fell in love with David and some of his writings. Fell in love with the book of Job, that was written by Moses. Fell in love with Paul and the way he writes. They're beautiful poets in the Bible. So yeah, that helped me find my voice, definitely.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing, because I
Yeah.
was going to ask you who your favorite poet in the Bible writings was, and so
Yep.
seems like
Yeah.
we struck. Yeah, I was actually trying to find what tone was Maskell, because it's an actual tone. Somebody says deep,
Right.
but it's deep more in profundity more than the tone. And a harp. There's a professor of linguistics and history, and he.
Hmm.
I wish I could find the video. When I find it, I'll share it with you. But it's beautiful. It's very, very beautiful. They actually had a tone, and that kind of set the tone. Where to sing, right? The key, the tone, the temper,
Right.
the temp.
Yep.
Even the timbre of the male voice that is supposed to be performed in. And so
Hmm.
you're reminding me of all of that kind of stuff, and your scope,
Thank
and
you.
you're not grandiose. You're more intention, based in what you're doing. And I really appreciate that. And I think the Foundits, they're trying to say that too. And I hope I'm not taking their words, but there's some very kind, love the spiritual poets. Workshop is top tier. Um, yeah, thank you, Hostage. Like your style, your poetry, your expressions. So
Thank you,
there's some very,
friends.
very
Oh,
wonderful things. Yeah.
awesome.
Did we
Thank you,
cover all?
friends.
Do you feel like we covered all the bases, or is there something we should have asked? I know it's only one show. You're gonna have to come back. Is that okay?
Yeah, we got to do it again.
We have
That's
to,
that's
because
the only
I
way.
got
There's
too many
more.
questions, and I'm
There's more. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But and I want you to go
Yeah.
more into your workshops, because I think more and more people with the stress, they're trying to relinquish all that stress, right? So,
Yeah, yeah, and it's a
and you're
beautiful
inviting.
way. It's a beautiful way to express ourselves. Um, it's a beautiful way to connect. Sometimes if you don't know what to say, sometimes you can write. You can write to someone. Um, and yeah, sometimes you may not have the words, but
You have the feeling.
you got the feeling, just write it all out. Just write. Don't worry about trying to make it sound cool. Don't worry about I I have a friend who is very smart, very, very smart. And he's a writer, and he's very intentional, and he knows exactly what he's doing. Um and I'm not that. And I wish I was that, but I'm not that. But instead, I just write it. I just pour it all out, and then I can go back and say, "Oh, this doesn't. Maybe this word
Emotion
will go
release.
better
Yeah,
over
yeah,
here, or maybe this word will go better over here, and that word goes better over here,
yeah.
and this word." There has to be a better word for that. Let me try to think of a better word for that. So, but if you write it out first, then you could work it. My biggest thing, and I try to do this. I haven't mastered it yet, but write without editing. Just write it first.
Conscious stream.
Right. Just yeah. Stream
When
of
it's
conscious.
real, when
Just
it's honest, right?
right. Just write it. Me,
Okay,
I'm edit it. No. Just write it. Just
okay.
write it.
It's a
Yeah,
good.
we
That's a
we
really good thing to.
we gotta come back. I would love to get into some of my character work, some of my character pieces. I would love to get into some other stuff, but I'm looking for to do it again, man. To
Please, when
run
you're
it back.
feeling better, because I'm kind of like a puppy. I don't know what to say, but I know I can put my head on your lap and say, "What's wrong? Please let us know how. Tell me what to do, what to say." So and hopefully we're all like puppies and we're all humble and forward thinking and put us not, don't think of it as being vulnerable. Think of it as being creative and forthcoming and honest and sharing your insights, because each one of us feels a different way. And I'm learning from everybody. I know you are too. I know lots of people keep saying you're very humble. And I want to tell you that I'm proud of you and I've missed you. And I feel like we should have met a long time ago.
Stop. Don't
we
do
should have
that,
met
man.
a long time ago. So
we should have.
you know,
We should have. I'm
we
so
should've.
looking forward to our relationship moving forward. I'm so man. I started watching you the first time I watched you. CJ Alabama said, "Oh, I'm going to be on YouTube," and I was like, "Really?" And I started watching, and I love your voice. You're a master musician, man. So
Thank you.
So yeah, definitely looking forward
Thank
to
you. Well,
what
I
we're gonna
think
do creatively.
I think we've all missed you, and we didn't even know it yet until we met you. Now now we know what we're missing out. So please grace us with the last piece, and then we're gonna say goodnight.
Okay, this piece is a part of a 4-piece set that I normally do. When I come back, we'll do the first piece is called "A Letter from Satan," and then and this is the final piece in that 4 set.
Wow, you're so brave.
Wow. And this one's called "Push," and it stands for "Pray until something happens." Push.
Wow. Hostage on the Lounge of Sound.
When the winds of darkness have surrounded your desperate heart, and sin has crouched down in front of your open door with a shotgun cocked and loaded with bullets and caliber designed just to fit your weakness, you push, pray until something happens. When the sky is falling and the ground is run away from your feet, when everything is nothing, when you've never known love, when you're home alone, the computer, smartphone, and tablet all beckon your sinful touch. Fingertips run across compliant white keys, depressed, sad, lonely letters and numbers, all willing to please, please push. When happiness is forever fleeting, when it feels momentary at best, when you can't get ahead, yet the wicked, them seem to prosper. When you gotta rob Peter to pay Paul and everybody doubts you like Thomas, thinks that you're a simple Simon, Andrew, a picture of James, my father's name is John. I flipped on him when I was a teen because he disappeared like Matthew Bartholomew. The pain for years I carried it like Judas Iscariot, that's all 12. Push. When you lose your job, push. But when your job is about to make you lose your religion because your coworker has no idea what your old personality looked like before you fit on the new, and today she might fool around and find out, you push. When he said, she said, you did what with you know who, and sister so-and-so said something or another, the brother what's his face about you that wasn't true, you forgive your sister, smile and push when your heartache is great. When your closest loved one will sleep till they wake. When no one understands your pain and you can't find the words to explain it. And when explaining it feels like cheating because they're your friends and they should just know how you feel. Like that time when your spouse broke Jehovah's heart. When he said, I do, but he didn't. When she said, I do, but she wanted a wedding, not a marriage, and she was looking past you. When a sense of loneliness has rumbled an earthquake down your spine and created a tsunami behind your eyes. When the tribulation is great, when Satan subtly seduces, when you're a young man of color and you get pulled over by the police, you completely comply, throw your fingers in the sky and push. This is the realest poem I ever wrote. This sounds like Mordecai dressed in sackcloth, slingshot, 5 rocks, forehead, David versus Goliath poem, spears thrown by Saul poem, on the run from his son Absalom. This is that open window with that scarlet colored cord hanging from it. This is Gideon with a pin, JL with a tent pin, Phineas with a sword, brick by brick rebuilding Jerusalem's walls. This is that get behind me Satan poem, that stumbling block turn stepping stone poem, that Ruth, that Naomi, that yo God be my God, yo God, this is me and Samson eating honeybees out of a lion's corpse. I've come too far to look back. I got pillar assault rhymes, and I'm looking forward to the time when peace and security is sung like a song. When the ceiling is complete and the anointed have received their heavenly reward, and the great crowd will be on earth alone, and Bibles will be ripped violently from screaming hands. And now we worship in faith-filled basements. And now we hum kingdom melodies because whispers have proven to be too loud. For the meeting now, it's safety first. Brothers looking out windows in rotation, and some of us won't be able to follow simple directions like please don't post our location. Listen, family. Storms are brewing. Time to batten down the hatches and hunker down. Keep pace with the celestial chariot. Don't worry about looking around. Just check the world's clock and recognize the time, and beware of hidden dangers. Collect potential projectiles. Stock up on emergency supplies, namely faith, water, Bibles, and grab a lot of love. And close the gap. Close the gap between what you know and what you do. So that moment when Gog of Magog's whiskey-stained breath, hot and wet, can be felt on the back of your neck, and you are forcibly asked to renounce your faith, you will have the strength to push. Thank you so much, Foundeds. Thank you for having me. We love you folks so much.